All right, and welcome back to episode 062 of the Guidons. Okay. Why do we make it so much longer when we do that? Podcast powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi. Today's date is March the 4th in the year of our Lord 2025. And the price of Bitcoin is 87,095.24, which we get a little dip, but don't worry. Everything is good. We are broadcasting live from the high desert of Southern California. I do love that we always go by the altitude. This is the high desert. The weather's been crazy. It's supposed to rain tomorrow. It's been windy. It's been black. I mean, it's been so windy. I didn't. My buddy went to the PX and bought a size large cover just so he could throw it down on his dome a little lower and cover up that rooster tail. But we appreciate you listening. This is episode 062, which means 7 more. We hit 69. We say nice and we pack it up.
Wow.
We would like a shout out to the Marines because without them, this podcast wouldn't be possible. The fact that we've done it while the FDO is downrange continues to blow my mind. But a moment for the troops. If you're not watching us on YouTube, we just did a beautiful hand salute. PFC Littleton would be proud. We got a lot to talk about. I'm joined by Mr. Jeff Buege, our resident Mormon, 511 alum. All good Marines come from 511. It's true. From the greater Salt Lake area. Mr. Trey Gottlich, Captain Types. Hey, RIP to the Yell Leaders. Coming to us. What city are you in tonight?
Frisco.
Oh, Frisco. Okay. So he's in his homer record, which is good. He only gets one homer record move.
It's a crazy hotel.
But I don't want to.
One homer record.
He only gets one homer record.
I thought you just traveled with those. You're like,
I just bring my Modest Mouse and monkey poster
away from home.
Yeah, but I don't want to steal the one's thunder. So with that, we'll do a quick roll call because we got a lot to talk about. 3, I'll kick it over to you. Okay, actually, let's kick it over to the XO. Trey, why don't you just be the XO and go ahead and go around the room with the roll call?
I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to the 1. I feel I'm going to go and delegate this out.
Sir, we have nothing for the group.
Okay. 3 here. Just want a slight schedule adjustment.
Sir, it's the Deuce. I know I'm never here, but I'm here today. It's the Deuce.
What you got? What you got, Deuce?
I went to Comstrat and we do have maps for Mojave MW Combat Viper ITX 4 TAC 69. And the laminator's broken, but we'll have them within a few months.
How long has that been down for?
Sir, the service request was in since my predecessor. Do you remember my predecessor, Lance Corporal S2? He put in the service request 4 years ago. But anyway, the guy who laminates it, turns out, sir, it looks like he's going to be fired because Doge is just wrecking house all over base. And so we may not have a laminator for a long time. Old
Big Balls got him, huh?
Yeah. That's all I have, sir.
Okay. One adjustment for the schedule. Immediately following this brief here, we will commence the 5 bullet points working group. Okay, we're gonna get down. We're gonna get down to brass tacks. We're gonna make sausage. Okay, right. We're gonna lay it out on the table, and we're gonna put our heads together, and we're gonna come up with 5 bullet points. Because we got to start submitting those. I know it's coming down the pipe. We haven't got any tasking from it yet, but I know it's coming down the pipe that we're all soon going to have to start justifying our jobs here. It could be because it's going to start weekly. I'm getting some indications and warnings that it might be daily, and could even then move into hourly justification of your jobs. So we're really going to have to go ahead and just get ahead of this problem. We want to get left of bang. We don't want to be right of bang. We want to be left of bang.
Definitely don't want a long flash to bang.
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We all know how.
Hey, that's the
time
3,
and space
right?
Works. Yes.
Hey, sir. Sorry, Major. Sorry, I'm on my mobile. I'm just coming back from a 8999 working group down at Camp Pendleton. And I just want to say that everything you said, I agree with. And I just want to dovetail on that we need to have a meeting immediately after this meeting to discuss the things I just got from the working group. And trash and PME will be a high priority target.
Outstanding.
Yeah. And a high payoff target if you look at it correctly, because sometimes our priorities aren't our payoffs, but PME is always payoff. Anyway, sir, I just want to, after your meeting, I'm going to have a meeting, but it's just with the 89.99s. But I want to make sure I want to make sure that the field grades are listening, but it's only for 89.99s.
Okay. Copy. So we'll dial in remotely, but we'll stay on mute. Okay, great.
So we'll just do the meeting on this line after, but the field grades need to stay in so they can put in my bill of accomplishments.
Right. Track it. Okay, cool. Great.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
No problem, sir. Sorry, sir. I was driving. Forgot to go on mute. I'm on mute. Do we need to kick it to the 4? World's greatest logistics officer.
Or what you got?
Present.
Yeah, I think for the group.
For the group?
Yeah.
No, nothing for the group. I will get with you offline. It's mainly about.
Hey, CXO, let's keep sidebars to a minimum. Sidebar conversations to a minimum.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But can I get with you offline?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Offline.
Different than a sidebar,
fine.
not a sidebar. Yeah. It's offline.
Not a sidebar.
Okay.
Sidebar and offline, two different things.
Could I also be part of that 89.99 meeting, or?
I'm tracking that you were advised that you were supposed to be there.
But am I on mute?
Yes.
Yeah, but your gunny can call in.
Yes, we will all remain in the room to listen in on the Teams call that will be going virtually. Tracking.
Hey,
Copy.
Speaking of which, Deuce, is the SVTC conference room working yet?
The what?
The room where we're supposed to do zipper calls. Is it working yet?
I'm not allowed access in there. My clearance has not been cleared yet. They said there's an issue. I have 57 credit cards that are open, and I haven't paid one of them ever. I have 3 more pending that I'm going to open to then pay off those credit cards, which will then cover my GovCC. And I have a PI open on me for that. Pending any questions, sir, that's all I have.
Pending any questions? Real quick, I'll just brief for the 6. Access rosters. Okay, we've been running into an issue with access rosters. And just real quick, as the 6, I have to communicate to people who listen to this podcast. If you don't know, in the military, every room has a piece of paper that's printed with low toner because we're out of money to buy toner. And so
it's true.
Really hard to read. And it's stuffed in a sheet protector, and then it's duct taped to a door. And on that door says who can go in the room. And then there's a wet signature. It has to be a wet signature. Yep. And most of the access rosters, whatever year you're in, so this is 2025, they're probably dated like 2022. We'd like a 3-year buffer. So the names on them don't make any sense, but it's becoming a problem. And so as the 6, we need to update the access rosters, or we're not going to sign out any crypto. Okay. We will not give out your KMI, EKMI keys. Well, we can't because we locked our keys in our own vault. And so we actually can't get in the vault, and Base is going to charge us $40,000 to open it to get in there. But if we could, we wouldn't give you crypto unless you update your access rosters. So that's all I have. I have nothing more for the group.
Tracking. Great updates. Okay. We have no Fro. We have no.
Doge took her out.
Any of the other like civilian billets we had, those are all gone. Yep. So now we're going to be pushing those collateral duties over to any staff sergeants that are pending legal action. We're just going to give them these collateral duties.
Sure, they all did the VERP. They all did the VERP program.
Oh, okay.
They're all out.
Oh, well, I'm sure we can find some other equally unmotivated and disgruntled person to take on this usually pretty key, important billet that, if gone neglected, could have serious impacts to morale and unit readiness. Okay. Sounds great. Sounds great.
Hey, so it's been 10 minutes. We try to cap that at 10 because we could really go for 2 hours. And I say that because as reserve majors, Jeff and I do that weekly where we go through what you just listened to for hours on end. But we cap it at 10 minutes for your sake. I do want to cover the trash real quick. Trash is still a priority. Make sure you police your trash. And then for Jeff and Trey, and I'm leaving character now and talk about my buddy. He went to a brief today with a regiment, and that shall not be named. And it's a D-30 brief to a general. And brief goes well. Great job by the staff. Everything's smooth, goes through all those shenanigans we just didn't happen. It was actually useful. A lot of people learned everything, got all the way till the end. And then it was $89.99, which was the last chance before, the big commander, and everyone had been like, nope, sir, nothing. Everything was covered. And if I could have paid an actor to come on to the OK podcast, I couldn't have never have paid enough because everyone's in a good mood. It's all, there's some company grades, field grades, it's professionals in there. And it's okay, friggin' daggone. I know that we do the slide sanitation, daggone. I know it's a UDP and not a UPD. Okay. And we friggin' dang show that to the friggin' daggone boss. Okay. Now, second off, PFTs. Okay. PFTs are no fail mission. We got to do our PFTs. Okay. And so I see on there that the percentages for the PFTs is friggin' daggone low. It's daggone low. And the thing is I know I did this training event. I did that training event. This PTP has been this and that. I got to go on block leave. I get it. You want to go home, see your wife and kids. You got to run a PFT. Okay. You think you have time in country to run a PFT? You're not. So you better friggin' run the daggone PFT now. Because if you run it now, then you don't have to run it later. And that's what I've always said is if you run the PFT now, later you don't have to run it. And so friggin' daggone, just do the PFT. And I know you got time on your schedules. I know you have time. You got time if you make time. I've always said that. If you made time, you got time, and the time is for the PFT. So daggone PFTs, I need y'all to run them. I need y'all to run the friggin' day. And if you want to run another one later, get a better store, go ahead. But what you think you got time, you ain't got time. Okay, time is a resource, and we need to use it resourcefully. So friggin' dang, run the PFT.
That's super neat.
I wanted to stand up and just it was incredible. And he was dead serious.
I love it.
Dead serious.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. And no one appreciated the humor like I did. No one. I was just sitting there oh my gosh. Okay. $89.99.
You think you got time?
Oh, you think you got time? You got no time. I'm aware I have no time because I've been in this room for 3 hours looking at a PowerPoint. I actually don't have
a PFT in this room during this brief.
A Marine Corps Socrates right there. You think you got time? You ain't got time.
That's what he's always said.
PFT.
Time is on my side.
That's good
anyway,
stuff.
I feel like we got through that. With that, 3, you want to go over the agenda? What are we talking about?
Right. Well, outstanding.
I will say that's if you wanted a snapshot of this same 10-minute joke that we do at the beginning of all these episodes of what it's like living with us in a house, it's just the same joke over and over again.
Yeah. With the addition of the potato song.
Yeah, you just throw that in there to break it up. Yeah. And then you come back to the same joke.
And
it never gets old.
Time is a flat circle.
Never gets old. Yeah. Time. You think you have time, but you don't.
You don't got time. Time is PFT. Yeah. God, you should have been let's run a PFT right now, Sergeant Major.
Let's go. Also, Sergeant Major, who is Daggone? Because he seems really important. You've been talking about him forever. Friggin' Daggone. Friggin' Daggone's dad's gone.
That's so good. All right. Well, should we kick into these slides?
Go ahead.
Slide deck. Yeah, pretty standard edition. Next slide.
Okay. First topic, a little discussion here of a former guest. Lance Captain SMCR.
Oh, I got beef with this.
Who has retired that page and now rebranded it.
Wait. Do you know what it's rebranded at?
Yeah.
Let me. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So both of you do? All right. Then
Yeah.
let me give some context to the listeners that don't listen to him. If you haven't listened, it was like probably episode 25. We had Lance Captain, SMCR, Reformed Baptist type, also a Marine. And I think, what did he get out as a captain or something?
I think so. A Lance Captain.
Captain-ish.
Runs a great meme page.
Like,
So I
great.
see the post and it's like, hey guys, I made this page to make military memes. I'm summarizing, Jeff. If I miss the commander's intent, let me know. It's like it's been a lot of fun. I'm getting more and more removed from the core. I feel like I'm not the meme guy. I appreciate you listening. I'm going to go on and do other things with this account. It'll still be funny. Like it was like good satire the way he wrote it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, is this a meme or is he leaving?
yeah, exactly.
And then 2 days later, I'm like, where's Lance Captain SMCR? And I try to search for it and you can't find it. And so Lance Captain SMCR 2 comes up, which is like his burner account, which instead of 80,000 followers is like, I don't know, 500 or something. I could be off. I'm sorry if I am Lance Captain. And I'm like, well, what is the new brand? And if you search for it, I couldn't find it. So I actually have no idea where he went. And whatever his thing does, if he listens to this, he probably doesn't. It's not popular. And I know I followed whatever the account was, but I'm not seeing it on my feed. I'm in it less because I'm always on Zipper now.
It's Lance Corporate.
Lance Corporate. Okay.
Yeah.
So the only reason I know that is he does listen because he reached out to me.
Oh.
And he said, hey, congratulations on the new edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Super nice guy. So I know he listens.
Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Yeah. His company's listening as a dive bar. Awesome.
Yeah. It went through two name changes in rapid succession. It was like Birkin squats for like a day or something like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Lance Corporate. Hey man, I don't even remember your name. I could name like 10 people you know. And I remember you on the podcast and you're my brother in Christ. But brother, just preach the gospel from Lance Captain USMCR. That's a handle you can't get rid of. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, I'm seeing him now. He's big on the Alps, big Alp guy.
Have you tried those? Yeah.
I'm a huge Alp guy. I'm an Alp influencer.
Oh, the mount. Oh, okay. I think about like the mountains. I was like
I don't think he's Swiss made.
Big European Alps guy.
Yeah. Doesn't like the Rockies or the Sierras, but big Alps guy.
Yeah. Love Sound of Music.
So I'm looking a quick scan. His page doesn't look much different than it did.
No, I think it's basically just like him. He changed the title of it and then just like kept posting. So I think you can go back, through the archives and reminisce on the good old Lance Captain days.
Well, there was like a 24-hour time there where I could not find him, and I'm glad.
Oh, same. Yeah, I was like, oh, what happened? I was like, what's he gonna call it? I didn't. Yeah. So
yeah,
but
okay.
Yeah, excited to see what sort of stuff.
Yeah, excited to see what Lance Corporate does.
I'll be
good
following
dude.
Him.
Yeah,
good dude. Better at memes.
Yeah,
true. Let's see what else we got. Okay, let's see.
Before we leave the heaviest of marine topics,
yes,
I did get a story from my buddy today.
Yes,
he my buddy was attached to a unit for a period of time, getting ready for deployment, and now he's attached to another unit to execute the deployment. And so the period of time that he's been attached to the other unit, he's met a lot of people, a lot of majors, and great group. Awesome. Felt like family. And, technically I don't work for them anymore, but I still go by. They're my boys. They're my, they're the guys that I would go charge my vessel and head to Fiddler's Green with. So I went up there today and it was just a stop of like, you have a podcast? And I was like, oh, yeah. They're like, no. You have a pod. Have you been recording a podcast since you got here? And I was like, yes. Like, how? Like, you've been in the field so much. Like, were you like in the field reporting a podcast? I was like, no, I never did it in the field. He's like, no, that would have been cool. He goes, but is your podcast literally with Trey Gottlich? And I'm like, so you know Trey? And it's Matt Lowen, 5'11" alum. Kind of is a great way to put it. And we've like hit it off with so many folks over the last 3 months of like this person, that person, whatever. And the interesting thing is he replaced me in Afghanistan, but he had moved from 5'11", so he was a little bit senior to us, to 211.
Yeah.
And was the Cannons platoon that ripped on the Bastion side on Camp Leatherneck.
Yeah.
And so I never saw him over there, and I didn't even realize. But then I didn't know that he knew you from not Sierra Battery. Yeah. So anyway, then
I knew him.
He was like, "What do you guys talk about?" And I was like, "Oh." He goes, "No, I was looking at the titles, and I was like, am I going to get an unfiltered, like how Grant's really thought about this?" And I was like, "No, you won't, because you'll just hear about my buddy." Like, you'll just hear what my buddy thinks about everything. And then he's like, well, what do you? And I was like, so we kind of do like a staff meeting, and he was like rolling in laughter. He's like, dude, I'm watching the OK podcast all night. He's like, I love Trey Gottlich. He goes, I called Trey like 2 years ago on Veterans Day, and I was like, hey, brother, you're a vet. And Trey was like, dude, you haven't talked to me since I left active duty. I mean, Trey, do you have a recollection of this story?
I think I texted him. I was like going through my phone, and I'm like, oh, Matt Lowen. I'm like, I wonder what that dude's up to, because I was really good friends when they cut over. Like the people in Sierra Battery, they were some interesting people, right?
Yeah, because you kind of got screwed, if we're frank. Right? Because that battery got chopped down.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah. And so besides Dill, I would say the rest of them they're interesting people. And so when Lowen came over, it was like, I'm like, oh, dude, this guy's awesome. So I hung out with Lowen a lot. It was like me, Dill, and Lowen would hang out. And then Lowen's wife was like super awesome. I think she's a lawyer.
That's correct. That
real interesting to talk to, kind of like what she had going on. So just really fun to hang out with. And so he left after they got back. He took off to his next, whatever he was doing in life.
Another deployment. Shocking.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I didn't talk to him, but I think I reached out to him like 2 years ago, like he said. And then he just called me after I texted him, and then we're kind of catching up, but really great dude.
It's just funny. And then I was like, oh man, what if my professional buddies, friends listen to this podcast? What will they think? I was like, yeah, they'll probably love it.
Yeah. And if not, who cares?
And if not, just
what are you watching? Bad Fit Rep?
Yeah. No, they can't. They're not my boss.
Exactly. And who cares?
Yeah. Also, who cares?
Yeah.
All right. Next slide.
Love it. Let's see. Well, what recently just was going on this weekend in Columbus, Ohio, was the Arnold, which Strength Co was absent from.
We were
in body.
So I imagine that I think only 5 or 6 people showed up to see the Massonomics guys, and that was probably about it. And
I actually heard the crew people went. I heard Arnold didn't even go.
Yeah, I heard he was like, no, Strength.
He was like, Strength Co's not going. I'm out.
Get to the job. I'm out.
No, I guess I would get. I'm curious. Well, did you guys see it on socials and have FOMO, or
a little bit with seeing the Massonomics posts on there, and I was like, oh yeah, man, the Arnold is a good time. But
I didn't see it on social media.
If Strength Co's not there,
it's almost like you have 3 daughters under a year.
Yeah, weird.
I thought I was gonna have but one, I've been busy in the Marine Corps, going to meetings and stuff. But no, It looked like it was good. I appreciate everyone that follows the Strength Co. who powers this podcast. We had a ton of messages asking like, where's my free shirt? Where's my Arnold discount? Where's my free shirt? Are you guys going to be there? Hey, can I put my cooler at your booth this year? We definitely had a lot of people reach out, which was cool, which was great.
No one wanted to buy anything. They're just like, can I store stuff or get free stuff?
Can I somehow benefit off you? But it was definitely like the Arnold is a logistical burden for us. It's a thing that we've solved having done it 3 times, but it's a lot of things. You have to get it there. You have to sell it. And so it was nice not to have to do all that, quite honestly. Did miss it. Did love that we felt missed. Saw that there were some new players there. But at the same time, what I really thought, if I put my field grade hat on and as a business owner was like, this is probably something I don't have to do every year. And like you just, do it every so often. But it looked like it went well. I was in the gym yesterday and I'm sitting there and I'm lifting and I look over and I see the Arnold physique, not on the person, but on the t-shirt that the person was wearing. And it said Arnold Classic 2025.
Oh, dang.
And I was like, wow, that's like the new shirt, like the ones you can buy like from the merch stuff. So I walked over and it's like, it's super strange. I want to talk about headphones later. Someone please remind me about headphones. But I walk over and the Marine takes off his headphones and I'm like, hey, did you go? And he's like, yes, I did. And I'm in green on green. So he doesn't know my rank or anything. I'm like, that's awesome. Like, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from there. Like I'm getting ready to deploy. And so I had leave. He's like, I was only able to go Friday because I had to be back at whatever. And like, it's hard to get there from 29 Palms. I was like, oh, sweet. Like, do you remember like any of the booths? And he's like, yeah. I was like, did you happen to see Massonomics? He's like, no, who's that? And I'm like, it's like a podcaster there. You should like look him up on Instagram. He's like, but like, are you from Columbus? I was like, no, but like I own a company that we make weight equipment. And I'm assuming I'm talking to an active duty Marine. He's like, oh, well, next year, like when we're done with this deployment, like I'll be back home. I go, oh, are you a reservist? And I was like, womp, womp, womp. He was like all ashamed. He's like, yes, sir. I was like, no. I'm also a reservist. I was like, that's great. I was like, so you're active right now? He's like, yes. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, yeah, the Arnold's a great time. I was like, we have a booth there. We do a deadlift competition. And he was like getting all into it. He's like, oh, well, would I know it? And I'm like, the strength company. He didn't know it. And so anyway, I'm like, you guys have a great workout. Like, love the shirt. Great to see you. I walk away and like 10 minutes later, I'm like a couple sets of squats and he comes over. He's like, you're like the Strength Co guy. And I was like, looked at him. I was like, oh, I like to think of myself as a Marine major. He's like, you're an officer? And I was like, yeah. And anyway, so it was kind of funny. And then he looked up Massonomics and followed them. And then like right after that, I saw a guy with a Bench Heavy t-shirt, which you guys probably saw me post. And I went up to him and I'm like, Bench Heavy team, you a Massonomics guy? And he was like, I have been blown away. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much on tangents. I have been blown away how little people shake hands. And if you just like walk up to someone, like look at them in the eye and throw your hand out, like they smile and like, oh, and like I always just say something goofy to Marines like, hey, how you doing, Corporal? And they're like, oh, good, sir. But this guy, I'm in PT gear. He's in PT gear. And I'm like, you a Massonomics guy? He's like smiling. He's like, oh, kind of. I'm like, well, you got the shirt. I'm like, do you listen to the podcast? He's like, a podcast? What are you talking about? I was like, your shirt. It literally says Bench Heavy and then it says Massonomics Podcast under. He goes, oh no, I got an Instagram ad. He goes, it was super cool though. The guys like wrote me a letter and sent me a bunch of stickers. And I was like, yeah, they're from South Dakota. Like they're friends of mine. He's like, you know the owners of this company? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, that's awesome. And then I didn't know what to say to him after that. I was like, have a great lift. And then he walked to the squat rack. And I was like, oh, he's going to squat. Of course he is. I think, pressing. And at one point I look over and that bright blue pops. Like, shout out Tanner and Tommy. That particular blue, I could, if Waldo wore that, I'd always find Waldo. I'd never ask, where's Waldo? And I look over and he's got like 155 on a straight bar. And he's just like curling, hip thrust curling 155 inside the squat rack. I'm like,
Love
oh,
it.
you literally don't know what Massonomics is because you would never do that. Good guy. He was from Nashville. I didn't catch his first name. Tanner, if you're listening, I know Tommy doesn't listen. I didn't catch his first name, but Nashville order, bench heavy, blue tee. Looks like he's wearing an XL. Good guy. I don't know if he's good at taxes or not.
Hey, maybe customer for life. Who knows?
Hey, now he is.
Love it.
Well, I guess that's the Arnold.
I guess that's why they call it the Arnold.
The Arnold.
But, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully the Eagle's still in business. They're probably counting on our visits every year to make budget. Right. But, hang in there, Eagle. Strength Co.
Travel budget did not take as big a hit as it usually does. So that was nice. Yeah.
Was Jocko there?
Jocko was there. Yep.
Wow.
And I think he shared a booth at the A&M Yell Eaters.
Whoop.
We're going to beat the ever living whoop out of Arnold. Sorry. I digress.
Well, quickly, should we just caveat or dovetail off that topic and talk about headphones?
Oh, might as well.
Have we talked about headphones?
Like in general, or just like, are you talking about?
I feel like I brought it up on the pod, but it's getting worse.
Just everyone wears over the ear headphones everywhere all the time.
So I don't know
in uniform.
No, can't do that. Can't even wear headphones in green on green working out because Sergeant Major said so. But I just mean, and it's generational, and I feel like I'm my dad right now. I just don't get it. But it's like everyone wears headphones all the time. And there's two ways. It's either over the ears, like we're wearing, or I'm wearing right now, or it's one pod in and they just walk around. But I just am always curious, like, what are you listening to? Like, you're going into the store to buy laundry detergent. Could you not like turn off whatever you're listening to for 5 minutes? And it just drives me nuts. And for some reason, I feel like it should be illegal on a Marine Corps basis.
To play devil's advocate to this,
hit me.
I went to Costco today.
And you put headphones in.
I wore them specifically because I did not want to talk to any sample people.
Yeah.
And so
maybe they're all wearing them so they don't have to talk to the loud
because
major.
if I am not wearing headphones, I feel guilty just straight up ignoring the sample people. But if I have my headphones in, I'm like, okay.
I see the sample people as targets of opportunity.
Yeah, I know. That's the difference.
Yeah, they see you coming and they go, oh, pack it up, boys.
Here's an okay podcast sticker.
What if all these people with headphones on are listening to the OK podcast?
It's just, I just really am curious what they're listening to. It's like when you see a guy in Starbucks reading a book. And you're like, there's no way you're taking in Socrates at the largest Starbucks on the corner right now.
Why were you like, I need to go out in public to read?
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Headphones.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Real quick, we should take a little second. It's March 4th, which means that it is some amount of days from tax deadline, which is April 15th. We want to thank our sponsor, BW Tax. The lights are on. People are home. Real person you get to talk to. It's never too late to do your taxes. It just gets more expensive the longer you wait. If you've waited this long, you're paying premium. It can't
be too late.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. But bwtaxllc.com.
Good dude.
Better at taxes.
Love BW. Good dude. Let's see. Topic that you mentioned this place a while back, or an episode or two ago, the Heritage Barbecue joint. Oh yeah, I went Sunday. Thought about Trey as I always do when there's brisket available. What did I want?
How was it?
Oh, it was good. I didn't eat the brisket. I've learned now that like good brisket, bad brisket, I feel better if I don't eat brisket. I'm just like, I'll taste it, but it's not my thing. What was interesting is it opened at 11. Went and saw old Mike Minigal, former Strength Co. employee, now first lieutenant, promoting to captain on 1 April.
Nice.
And went down to see him and his fiance and baby, and got there at 10:40, and the line was probably 60, 70 people deep. Dang. So I'm in the back of the line. And at about 5 minutes before opening, the owner came out and he's like, hey, my name's so-and-so. Sorry, I didn't remember it. He didn't have a catchy name. He's like, my brother and I started in Texas with this cooker right here. I posted this cooker on my story. I don't know what kind it is. It's like a long cylinder. And he's like, this was the first ever of this kind to be brought from Texas to California. We started out here. We did a food truck. So he like told his story for like 3 or 4 minutes. And then he just went on like a 5 minutes of how the thing works. Like, hey, like at 11, we're going to start taking people. Like you can scan QR codes back here. You order by the pound. You're not ordering like a plate for each person. It's family style. And then he's just like, I just want to thank all of you for waiting in line. He's like, I can't believe that my brother and I like started a barbecue business, brought it to California, and you're waiting in line. He's like, we're super appreciative. Like every order counts. Every pound of brisket counts. He's like, shout out to like so-and-so on this grill and this grill. They came in at 3:30 this morning to start cooking the stuff. And I was just like, it was awesome. And I've been there. I've probably been there more than 6 times, less than 12. And I'd never seen that before, but it was just funny. Like as a business owner, you just realize like when people are actually like thankful for stuff. And he was just like you could just tell he woke up, probably had stress of the price of beef and the tariffs and like can't find eggs anywhere. And he's like rolled into work, was like, oh, thank God there's 70 people in line. Yeah. I should go talk to them. And no, it was good. Barbecue was great. I ate the tri-tip. I think California is underrated on tri-tip. I think it's great food. I ate the tri-tip and the pork ribs. That's kind of my speed. Mike ate the brisket and the women ate the chicken. And everyone ate a little bit of everything, but yeah, it was good. Good stuff. Heritage Barbecue. Go check them out. San Juan Capistrano. Potential sponsor. He actually stopped me. He was like, okay. And I was like, okay. Whoa, I know chill. We start brisket at 02:30.
But you get Firewatch to get in there, get things heated up. Okay.
No, we're going to have an overnight watch on this.
I wonder if he has like CCRs.
You mean AARs?
No, was it like
wake
up? No, when you wake up the captain in the middle of the night.
Yeah, Commander's Critical Information Requirements.
CCIRs.
CCIRs. There's an I in there, yeah.
CCIRs, yeah.
Wake me up.
If the brisket gets over 180 before we wrap it, you will wake me up.
It's very possible.
Good dude. Better at barbecue.
Love it. Oh, okay. Did anybody hear? Can anyone? Okay, this is how I'll do this topic. Can either of you name one movie that was nominated for Best Picture this year at the Oscars?
The Town.
Was the Bob Dylan movie? Dune 2.
The Departed.
Something with Timothy Chalamet.
Black Mass.
I'm going to actually have to look at because I actually don't know any movies.
Mystic River.
Grant is just naming every Boston movie.
Just naming Boston.
Grant's very confused of what the topic is.
Good Will Hunting.
And the category is Best Boston Movie.
Fever Pitch.
Let's see. Oh, God. Yeah.
You name all those and you throw up Fever Pitch? So Jimmy Fallon, right?
Yeah, Pink Hatters.
That is such a terrible movie.
Okay, Dune 2 did get nominated. I forgot that it came out that last year. That was good. I did like Dune 2.
Flick. I like Dune 2.
It was nothing compared to Doom 1.
I knew Grant would say that. Just
in the South, we just call it Doom.
Dune. D-U-N-E. Like a sand dune.
Okay, and the Bob Dylan movie was also nominated.
Oh, okay. Look at Trey.
Never mind. I was like, no one will know any.
Those are the only two I know.
I didn't know that the Oscars happened.
That was also that like surprised me. I was like, oh, The Oscars, right? That's still a thing, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I guess it's been in pretty steady decline as far as like viewership goes. So you're just part of the trend.
In your opinion, in the last, do you think recently movies have gone downhill in like
big time?
Right?
Like so downhill.
When did that start?
Oh. I feel like it's kind of.
I think when we stopped polishing our black boots, and we went to
we changed away from tricolors to digis.
We went to Marpats,
like early 2000s.
So I think movies, and I'm the most socially illiterate guy in movies, but I think it's when we stopped going to the theater and we started watching at home. And when you went to the theater, you wanted like I eat dinner, I go in with my date, I do a 2-hour thing, and then like we get dessert after. And I know that has nothing to do with the movie production, but I actually think it's important because I think series have gone up and movies have plummeted. Like there are random series like on major networks now that are pretty captivating. And I think it's because people are now at home with everything going on. No, people are at home though, and they want to watch multiple, like there's no time constraint. Whereas when going to the movies was an activity, it was like, you want to make this 2-hour thing really entertaining. And then everyone talks about it after. I don't know. I feel like it's been
like, do you think it was COVID? Or you think it was before that?
COVID. I feel like
it was prior to.
Yeah,
I think COVID
that nailed in the coffin.
Yeah, because it was like, and also I think the at home viewing experience has gotten better as like TVs have gotten better, like at home sound systems have gotten better. So
serious question: have you ever watched the OK podcast at your house? It's incredible. You can see the whole thing on YouTube. It's amazing. I think that a nice TV used to be thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Like you could buy a car, and now you're like, oh yeah, I just have this nice TV.
I don't know. I think it was COVID. I think there were some good series before, but I still think people got excited about going to the movies, and then COVID came. People were like, oh, I can just do all this from home.
Yeah,
and then they were like.
Yeah, and they're trying to put that back. They're trying to put that back in the bottle, but it's like people, I think, got too used to it. I
think they're trying to come up with some new, I don't know, like they're coming up with like some more immersive theaters, which I think could be interesting. You know, like less seatings, more like an experience kind of thing.
Yeah, you have seen that trend a lot. Whereas like, man, I can't think. I'm trying to like remember like in middle school going to a movie theater, and that was like, oh yeah, stadium seating was like not a thing. It was like, if you were behind the tall guy, like too bad you're not seeing everything. Like,
so serious question, not Grant being funny. Is the Oscars for movies that have come out?
Yes.
Okay. Just movies, like not
just
shows.
Movies. Yeah.
Not
just
actors,
movies.
like movies. Okay.
So like movies and actors in movies.
Okay.
And then like sound and editing and music. Yeah. Like music in movies, not music. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
now,
anything kind of like cinema related.
Yeah.
Do you think sporting events will go the same way?
No.
You don't think so?
So?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, man. I didn't think so either. And then I went to that Cosm thing, and I was like, this is so much cooler.
The biggest thing is you have to keep the cameras out of the locker rooms.
That's the biggest thing.
If you keep the cameras out of the locker rooms, sports stay integrity. If you put the cameras in the locker room, it's a slippery slope.
Trying to have
when you went to the so like at like the Cosm,
I thought it was called the Cosmo
thing was like the people were like the people in the crowd at the Cosm thing like fired up.
Yes, very much so.
Like people, they were like getting into it.
It was LSU and A&M fans, and it was pretty.
Really,
yeah. That everyone was getting into it.
That's cool. Because that's where like the only thing where I could see like, oh, just like the atmosphere of being in the stadium and like you're at.
It was like sitting in a stadium and like maybe not the exact same atmosphere, but the only upside was like there was somebody coming to take like either drop off food or take your order like every 10 minutes if you needed something.
Nice.
That's pretty nice. I don't know. I'd be curious if more of those pop up. Like there's not a ton of seating, but it was a really cool experience.
Yeah.
But I tend to agree. Overall, I don't think sporting events are going away.
Yeah.
Got to keep them cameras out, right?
Hey, got to keep the cameras out of the locker room. It's tough to do against tall grass. Winning an Oscar.
That's true.
Well,
dang.
I don't even know who won.
Can you win the Oscars or do you win a Oscar?
Well, like the big one is always like Best Picture. Like that's like
what was the Best Picture?
Anora.
Never heard of her.
I don't even know what that is.
Hardly know.
I never. Yeah, hold on. Let's see where it's like a synopsis.
Anora, more like a Snora.
Anora, a young woman from Brooklyn, gets her chance at a Cinderella story when she meets and marries the son of an oligarch. Once the news reaches Russia, her fairy tale is threatened as her parents set out for New York to get the marriage annulled.
So basically Anastasia.
Sure.
Anastasia, that's Jeff's profile pic.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
He means Fantasia.
Yeah. Oh, Fantasia.
Same.
But he knew. He knew
Star
he
Wars.
was saying.
I didn't right there.
No,
that is the best part.
Did.
No, I really didn't. Didn't. I was briefing today that my buddy was that all NAMs needed to be done tomorrow. I was like, all NAMs will be done tomorrow. And I was like, I know that we have competing requirements, but we must get to medical and do the all NAMs. And the captain was like, sir, are you talking about the awards? I'm like, no, I'm talking about that dumb brain test that you take before you deploy, like where you match up colors and shapes.
Oh, I love that test.
What is it? Is it called an ANAM? What is that test?
I think ANAM.
Yeah.
ANAM. And he's like, sir, it's not an all NAM. It's an ANAM or whatever it is. I actually don't know what it is. And I go, great. What does it stand for? He's like, no idea. I was like, therefore it's an all NAM because it sounds better.
I wish no one asked anything and you just had like about 30 NAMs just come in. They're
like, they're up all night. We were up all night, sir. We got all the NAMs in though.
So you said it was a no-fail mission. We gave it to the trash staff in COIC.
That's what I was about to say. He got a NAM for separating the recycling?
Hey. One NAM, if it reduced the signs, crazy. Anyway. All right, next slide.
Oh, that's good. You kind of are speaking of random like shows popping up like on random networks. I guess it's not really that random of a network, but Apple Plus, we've been watching Severance. Have either of you guys heard the show or watched it?
I didn't realize. So no, I've heard good things about it, but I didn't realize is that a Ben Stiller?
Hey, sir, I can speak to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can speak to this, sir. No, my household six and I, when I was home. So Severance popped up on Apple Plus. I clicked on it, was not entertained, stopped. And then household six was watching it. And I jumped in somewhere into season 1 when I was home and watched 3 or 4 episodes and absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Did episode 1 turn you off?
I wouldn't say it turned me off. When I turn on a TV show, I'm looking for like, give me a reason to put my phone down and make me more entertained. Because I will do that. And most of the time it's like, oh yeah, I'm on episode 3. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And episode 1 did that to me. I wouldn't say it turned me off. I just wasn't in it. And then Diana was watching it.
Slow episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I think we watched like 3 or 4 episodes together. I thought it was incredible. I was like, I can't wait till I have free time at the barracks. And then I came back to the barracks and it was like, I forgot about it for 2 weeks. I was like, oh, Severance. I was looking for something to watch. And then it was like, you're on season 2 episode because our accounts are linked.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh crap, I have no idea where I was. And so I haven't watched it anymore, but I want to, because I should just probably start it over, honestly.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. Are you hooked? Are you on season 2, 3? How many are there?
We're what, 2 or 3 episodes in, 4 episodes in to season 2.
Okay.
Yeah. We watched, there are a bunch of people at work that were talking about it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, I was like, hey, have you heard this show? And she's like, oh, everyone at my work is talking about it. So we watched the first episode. We both kind of like looked at each other and we were like, is this good? And I was like, I think someone said the first episode is kind of slow.
Tough.
And you just got to get through it, and it gets way better like every episode. And it's good. It's good. Yeah. And it's like Ben Stiller, I think, directed most of the episodes so far.
Okay.
I thought did he write it or just direct it?
Maybe both. I don't know. We don't watch all the credits. We just, the first one is always like,
oh, I'm a big credit guy.
Stiller, yeah.
Big credit guy.
Big credit guy. Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I'm like, who's the second sound engineer?
Give credit where credit's due, I guess. Appreciate that.
Let me see. Who wrote Severance? Not Ben Stiller. Okay. But it almost looks like everybody but Ben Stiller wrote this.
You're like, oh, I'm on here.
Trey Gottlich.
You're like, yeah.
Well, I wrote Severance? Ooh. No, heard good things. So you would recommend?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. What else we got?
Let's see.
Are you going to answer my question that I asked?
Ooh.
Oh, the one, yes, to me.
Yeah, I've always
the
been.
other one. Oh, go ahead.
We do both. The other one should be shorter. It's just like you've done both. You're our resident ordnance expert.
Oh yeah.
So the question was, does Jeff prefer calling in artillery or dropping bombs?
Oh yeah. Hey, be advised, I'm not a JTAC.
I'm not a JTAC either.
Jeff is.
I am neither current nor qualified at this moment. But
as a previous JTAC,
as a true Marine, I'm going to say coordinating both at the same time.
What a cop out, dude.
I want a good interrupted SEAD.
Yeah. Hey, if you're good, you can do it continuous, all right? You don't need to,
okay.
You know.
That's why I feel that
okay. Freaking daggone. Well, I know we're not trading time for effects and space and PFTs on the battlefield.
Because that's the most fun thing. I'll say artillery's great, CAS is great, but PFTs are my favorite.
Can't wait to run mine in
only if
11 days.
You have the time. Only if you got time to do it.
Yeah.
I don't. CAS is it's a lot more like interactive. You're like doing more. I feel like Call for Fire is a little more just like, okay, I made the radio calls, and yeah, I guess you're adjusting, which is fun. But
unless the battery is doing 5 rounds,
the battery is
5 requirements for accurate predictive fire.
Unless you're talking to Godfather battery, and then
mission of the fire
steel.
battery, accurate first round fire for effect. Hoorah!
Hoorah! But yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I guess doing calling in like a gun run with A-10s is pretty fun. It's pretty cool.
So basically,
that'd be pretty freaking sweet.
Basically, the product delivery is so much better for artillery. CAS is more fun because you get to work more.
Basically, yeah.
No, I don't know. Like I talked last week with the notional hind firing on us. Like when you get a rotary wing, like nose down, closing on an objective and just like unleashing. Oh man, like that's awesome.
That's probably
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I did in the simulator when I was at
JFO.
Fort Sill. I'm a qualified JFO.
Yeah. Well, you're probably out of quals now, but
no, I keep that in. I keep that in check.
Yeah. You jump on Teams, do some digital, you do some remote calls for fire.
I go out of my way.
If the balls of the Corps need any JFOs, because Trey Gottlich is ready to come back and join up with First Squad.
Yes. If I hopped on the radio and be like, "Hey, I'm a JFO," Does that mean anything to anybody?
Yeah, GFOs are still a thing. They're brief. Okay. They're in the PowerPoints.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're in the PowerPoints. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't do anything with it, right?
You can.
You can just talk to a JTAG, right?
If I'm speaking, go ahead, Jeff.
If you were like a pilot and someone hopped on the radio and said JFO, then you'd be like, oh, okay, this guy will I can talk to this guy like somebody that's talked to aircraft before, and like they'll know what I need. It'll be a much more like productive conversation and not like if it was a completely like untrained
observer. That's what I was going to say. Is there's like the basic thing that people think is I'm talking to an untrained observer, and if you're JFO, then people are like, oh, he like gets it. And that's okay. Like you can call for Cass and Artie having no idea what's going on. It's just going to be painful. But like if someone's a JFO, I mean, Jeff knows that side better than me, but I would say, because even when we did, what was the exercise? Jaded Thunder up at Fort Drum. It was all for SOF. So it was basically a TACP shoot for like SOF guys. But it was like, wow, they have no idea how to call for fire. And so we put some Marine JFOs with like the British SAS, and they were so much better because it was like, and the SAS was like doing the mission, but it was like, because you had a guy that like understood like the process, it was like, oh, this is way easier.
I'm trying to see. I got my right in the rain.
Hey,
is the cast in the back?
Yeah, there should be a 9-line one.
There's a call for fire.
There's artillery. One thing I know about artillery.
Oh, cast briefing form 9-line. Yeah.
When I call, it lands. Godfather out.
Do you think you still have these symbols memorized?
Ops terms and graphics?
Oh, yeah.
I'm an expert.
Are you really?
Terrible.
What's artillery?
That's a dot. Yeah, it's like a bowling ball in the middle of a square rectangle.
Nailed it. That's all you need to know, baby.
Hey, Artie. I'm the FDO, and we will be here for phase 1. I'm the FDO. We will remain unchanged for phase 2. And for phase 3, we will still be here.
No change.
All right. What else we got?
I was always curious about that. Thank you for answering.
Of course.
I appreciate your candor.
Yeah. You had another question in there.
I did. This is the one that I feel like I already know the answer to, but go ahead. You go ahead and ask.
Trey wants to know, do you take creatine and protein?
That's not what I was going to say.
Oh, no. Okay. Scratch that one. Which one of us would have made the best enlisted Marine?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that one and took interest. And you guys can answer first.
I want to know what Trey thinks.
Oh, it's me for sure. Both of y'all are too officer gentleman like. I don't think.
From what spectrum are we talking about?
We'll say.
So are you talking about like general how you live as a Marine? Or are you talking enlisted like I'm going to make corrections and make sure people do things correctly?
Oh, that's tough. Probably the first one.
Okay. Then I would say you're correct.
Okay.
Jeff and I are too bought in. we love it.
I would have made a fantastic Lance Cooley.
Oh
yeah, dude.
And I don't want. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, Roger that, sir.
Roger. And then also like things would get. You'd be like, how did you? We only had one MTS yesterday. Now we have 3. Like, where did these other 2 MTS come from, Gottlich? I'll never tell.
My buddy was telling me that they were like, sir, we drew 144 black bags. We issued black bags to 131 Marines, and we locked the other 13 in the quad cons. And then we went to turn them in and we're 3 short. Here's the flipple for you to sign. And I was like, Not me. My buddy was like, "Hey, Staff Sergeant, go find freaking 3 daggone black bags." And he's like, "What?" I was like, "I'm not signing anything. I didn't lose anything. You find 3 black bags." Like an hour later, "Sir, we got all the black bags."
Like,
very well.
Very well. Good answer.
Yeah, I don't know what my answer on that is. Jeff and I are too similar. I feel like I don't know that I would have been a good young enlisted Marine. I do feel like gunny. So I don't think that in like the terms of like hard charger. I think that in terms of like drug deals, because I can like kind of make friends with anyone in the Marine Corps. And so it would be like, "Hey, I realized that I lost 3 ramming staffs for this howitzers, but I have 60 cases of MREs. Do you want them as a trade?" And I feel like I could have made those deals work. I will say the part of me that I hate is like the leaving the building without a cover on, sunglasses on head, like hands in pockets while talking to someone senior to you. Like I can never unsee those things. And I wonder if I'm broken because of that. I'm like,
I hated that too.
I hate that stuff. And so sometimes I feel, and I'm like, is that enlisted or is that just correct? But like Jeff, like he'll roll his sleeves and wear a fanny pack. Like he doesn't care.
Jeff does not abide by Marine Corps Order 1020.34 Golf.
He's JTAC.
Yeah.
I can't,
takes all kinds.
Once you're Anglican, it stays with you forever.
Man, there was one
retired
kid,
all my skivvy shirts.
Yeah, I was thinking about that question.
So Trey, you go, then I'm going to go. Just remind me to skivvy shirts. Go ahead, Trey.
Okay. I was thinking about that question. It reminded me of I was thinking about this kid that was he was a motor T kid, and he was like dumber than like a box of rocks. Like Missouri, like was always like out of regs. His hair was long, had very low IQ, smoked cigarettes, like would chain smoke them.
Sounds like a warrior to me. Right.
So great motor T Marine because he could fix anything. Love and then he was also, they would have him go count the fuel. And he was like a savant. He would like to the T could like be like, I was like, how do you count this fuel? He's like, well, sir, I'm kind of like just count it like this.
No.
And I'd be like, I was like, what? Wait. And he would just like do this. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? He's like, well, I'm just like in my head. I'm like doing this. I was like, yeah. I'm like, has anybody double checked him, Staff Sergeant? He's like, oh, dude, he's straight. Like he's 100% accurate on. And I have no idea how he's doing it. So and that's what I miss a lot. It's just like Marines just like randomly good at stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, that's very true.
This kid's a moron, but he can like randomly like fix a Humvee with a toothbrush. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
But it's always got a kick out of that. Oh, you were saying skivvy shirts.
Oh, no. I was going to say, I'm like, so a lot of people, so I get upset about basic rule following. Like if you see me and you look the other way, like you're intentionally like avoiding doing customs and courtesies, like that angers me. If we have a uniform inspection and you're wearing the wrong color socks, like it's not about me. It's about like the Marines that were in Saipan, right? Like there's like a bigger thing at play here. Like you get to wear that uniform. Most people don't. Like you should wear the uniform correctly. Like those things. But at the same time, like I have a mustache and it rubs so many people wrong. And I'm like, hey, I am authorized to have a mustache, and I would have a much wider mustache, thicker mustache if I was not a Marine, but I am. And so I look like Hitler all year long, but I'm allowed to look like Hitler. And it's the same thing with skivvy shirts, to my point, Jeff. It's like, hey, the commander can say skivvy shirts are required. But if he didn't, you're not required to wear a skivvy shirt. So like, I like rules. Like I will uphold rules.
Yeah.
I will not uphold like pet peeves if they're not in line with the rules. And so it kind of drives people nuts about me. And so like I police mustaches more than anyone, because I have one and it's way shorter and smaller and off my lip than I would like it to be. And so therefore, when I see a Marine with like a bush on his face, I'm like, brother, if you and I were in Frisco, Texas, eating barbecue with Trey Gottlich, 10 years removed, I would compliment the heck out of that. Go to your room right now and shave it. Not off, but like put it in regs. And then the Marine, this is why I know I'm not enlisted. I just did this the other day with the Marine. I'm like, hey, listen, I love your mustache. I'm pro mustache. I am team mustache. If we're going to wear them in this unit, we're going to do it by the rules. You got to trim it. Next day, it's shaved. Hey, what happened to your mustache? Oh, sir, I have this thing where I grow my mustache out of regs until my commander tells me that it's out of regs, and then I shave it.
Cool.
What? Like, why?
Why is that a thing?
Yeah.
So like I look at myself.
I would
and
be
like,
a terrible enlisted Marine.
I think of myself, I'd be a good Lance Corporal. Graham's gonna think this is insult. It's not. I think you'd be a good first sergeant.
Oh, that's such an insult.
Right? Yeah, I know it is. Jeff would be the best staff sergeant, I think.
Yeah, I could see
having like a green second lieutenant, and Jeff's like trying to like
mentor him.
Come on, buddy, come on.
Yeah, but he'd like listen to the rules, but wouldn't get heartburn about it, right? Because like some staff sergeants, like I can't believe this lieutenant, and Jeff would be like, "That's a part of the process."
Yeah,
Jeff would be just said I'd be.
Jeff would be a good.
I want to go kill myself.
It's all in the game. Yeah, Grant's never gonna.
I will not sleep tonight. Oh my God.
And then next week we're gonna be like, and Trey is no longer part of the OK podcast. I don't know what happened to him. Actually, we don't mention his name anymore. He's been scrubbed from all 62
Trey,
episodes.
You would have been great in the National Guard.
I prefaced it. I knew you're not going to like it. But
that was good.
Hey, I'm a straight shooter, man.
That's right.
It is. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I was a gunny. My MOS closed out, so I had to go F. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there you
go. We have to go right into White Monsters.
Love it. Dude,
I don't know which one to talk about.
It's in like every
meme,
everything. It's just like, and I'll be honest, I don't think they're that good. I like full strength. I go with Green Monster any day over. I mean, I get why.
I'm not a Green Monster guy.
The
I'm definitely
energy drink. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you now. It's like,
he's not talking about John Cena who turned.
Y'all talking about Boston? The Green Monster? What are y'all talking about?
Energy drinks. I don't know. I always liked Orange Rockstar.
Okay.
But I don't drink them like people do, and it blows my mind how many, like the trash can.
Dude.
Not to always talk about trash, but the trash can in our
it all
office.
comes back to the trash.
It's insane. The amount of energy drink cans in there. It's mind blowing. It's crazy.
What was I can't remember. There was some 5'11" Marine. He was either Tango or this probably happens in a lot of units. Maybe he was Sierra. But I remember there was some Marine that would like collect
charrette.
Yeah, or like
charrette.
Yeah, would collect all the cans and then cash them in and like made a killing.
Yeah,
just like it's free money. Like there are hundreds of these I can collect.
In California, we call that only one Mother Earth.
It's the Marine Corps is like one of the few places I've seen like a 20-year-old like be diagnosed with high blood pressure because he's just
crazy.
30 monsters.
The amount of monsters is, and just in the Celsius and the energy and just the diet. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
It is crazy.
Yeah, I don't even know where to go with that. But the memes are great. I don't know if I sent you guys the one. Did you see the one where the guy's like, "Hey, I'd like a coffee," and they're like, "What type of milk?" And he's like, "White Monster," and they like froth a White Monster and pour it in the espresso. And I was like, "This is great. Let's go."
That's good.
And then you just like turn on Creed, and you're like, "Ugh. Put me in Saipan right now."
But man, White Monster. It's so hot right now.
That's the popular one, huh?
It's trending.
Do they have the big version of those?
The
like
BFC?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I think BFCs are out in general. because I don't see them in the green ones.
That's too bad.
Yeah, there was a group in our last field op that I think they brought 3 cases of monsters, 12 packs, and
For 3 Marines.
It was the comm truck. So literally 4 Marines. So it's a soft skin high back with like, Mark 148 or whatever, and pulling a trailer. And so we're going to this area and it was a big evolution. So a lot of people are going out and they're like, hey, like whatever checkpoint's going to be bogged up. So I'm looking at the map and I'm like, oh, like this road that goes through this checkpoint is this colored brown line. And this road, 1 click south, is also this colored brown line. Like I'll just take this southern route and it'll be great. And, when you're leading 28 vehicles, 140 personnel, and 5 million or way more than that dollars of equipment, like you just make the turn. So I make the turn and it's like super rocky and it's definitely a road, but it's like where the Amboy crater blew up or something. And I'm like, it'll get better. And I like pull out my map and like look at my grid and I look at my kill switch. I'm like, oh, I am 100% on this like brown line. For those that don't read maps, like there'll be dash lines. There'll be like wavy blue colored lines. Like this is 100% supposed to be a main supply route. And it is just the rockiest, bumpiest ride. It took us 1 hour to go 3 clicks.
Oh God.
Jeez.
And there was no leaving. Cause like once the whole convoy's on it, you can't do anything.
No.
And so the road, I was actually going to drive for like 20 clicks. And now I'm like, well, I can't do that. And so I find this like little dash line. I'm like, I'm just going to make that left, which ended up working out. Anyway, we get into position. We're super distributed. And I like go to the comm truck because I knew they were like the monster truck. And I was like, let me get a monster. And the sergeant was like, sir, they all exploded. And like every monster had popped and just like sprayed all over the equipment. Like the truck was just like a monster explosion. I just like stuck my head in there. I was like, I'm good, devils. Don't worry about me. It's terrible.
Borderline tears.
Terrible. Oh, borderline.
Exploded. Class. That's oh man, that's just one of my favorite things. Is it like the way Marines pack trailers or anything that like they're like, oh, we must be driving on smooth, like hardball, perfect roads everywhere at 10 miles an hour. It's going to be fine. All these vehicles have the best shock absorbers ever made. They're military grade, and just like
everything gets
it's classic.
trashed.
Yeah, just like I've seen so many just like crates flipped and things falling out of Verk mounts, and you're just like,
it's crazy.
We do this every time. I love it. I love it. Oh man.
I feel like we should crush one of Trey's lifting questions.
Love it.
Anything else you got? Maybe 2 more. And then I do want to should put in the threes radar real quick. Sorry, Major. I know you're going to talk at the end. First Sergeant, just relax. 6. I know we got more stuff. I just want to put on the radar. Do you need to talk Fieldcraft at some point?
Ooh,
just why Fieldcraft is fresh on the brain. So 3, just put that in the FOPS, put it in the Skittles, and just make the ORM and publish the LOI. Make sure we talk about that next week.
Tracking.
All right, good. What else you got?
Do you want to hit one of Trey's lifting questions, or
yeah, we should,
or kind of a post in there about lifting? I don't know if we're talking about both those.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I don't know. Go one or the other.
Trey, you want to talk about that? You want to talk supplements?
Yeah, we can, man. I don't know. Like, I guess my questions: 1, creatine versus protein. Do you take both? Do you take?
I just take White Monsters and Alps.
Just White Monsters.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, I've never messed around with creatine.
I'm gonna let Jeff answer this first.
I feel like I've taken it pretty regularly for like a long time now. Like, I don't know, 10 plus years. I probably haven't hit it every day, but like,
do you take it like as a supplement, or do you take it like before you work out?
Usually it's like some point during the day. Like a lot of times I'll do like a protein shake at some point during the day.
Mm-hmm,
So I'll just toss it in there. Or if I forget, I'll just throw it in with some water and pound it down. But I think
pound it down.
It seems to have like a worth the potential benefits of it. I think 1,000% outweigh any potential risks of it. And I think any risks are pretty overstated.
I was about to say, I don't even know what the risks are.
Yeah.
So basically, okay, when you do the kind of lifting that we do, which is strength training, which is short, lower rep exercises, you decrease ATP. And so I always give the example of thinking of it like sprinting, right? When you go to sprint, like Trey, Jeff, and Grant go outside the OK Podcast studio, and I'm like, Trey, let's race. And we're going to run the 40-yard dash. Like, think about the NFL Combine. Those guys run the 40-yard dash, and what happens at the end? They cross the line, and they're completely gassed. And if someone could come to them right then and say, hey, there was a guy this week with a mullet that all the memes have had him running to Freebird, and he ran like whatever. It's like a big 280 guy. He ran something fast. If they came to him and said, hey, you ran a 4.4, we'd give you $8 million if you ran a 4.2, but you have to do it right now. He could not do it because ATP is completely depleted. It's completely gone. Adenosine triphosphate, right? It's your like short energy producing ability to like jump high, run fast, squat 500, and it depletes. But then if you took that guy and you walked him around the track like 3 times and let him catch his breath, ATP comes back and replenishes, and he could go run the 40-yard dash again. Would he be as fast as he was at a 4.4? Probably not, because he has some fatigue that's accumulated, but he'd be really freaking close. And so it's the same thing that we experience in the gym. Hey, I'm going to squat 3x5 at 350. And you do the first set, and rep 5 is a grind, and you're completely like gassed. And then you rest. And if you rest 2 minutes, if you're a novice, 3 minutes, it's enough at first. But eventually, as you get stronger, you got to rest 5, 6 minutes in order for you to squat 350 again for a set of 5. So you're letting heart rate come down and ATP replenish so that you can incur a higher stress so you can lift more next time. So I say all that to say creatine, scientifically proven, like scientifically proven. I'm not talking about a COVID vax, like actually scientifically proven to increase ATP. Or the better way to think about it is to like top ATP storages off. So you get ATP from eating mostly in red meat, gets that storage level high. So if you take creatine, you're basically like topping off your storage. If your storage is topped off, your body won't produce any. But science has shown that if you like are topping it off and you stop topping it off, your body automatically produces it again, or you can supplement it with red meat and get it back up. But ATP, that's like, one, it's dirt cheap. It's so cheap. Like if you went down to like the serving size a day, it's like costing you like 5 cents a day or something to take creatine. So I think it's worthwhile to take, and it's increasing your ability to run fast, lift heavy, and do like short, super taxing events. And so there's no reason really not to take it. With all of that said, I never take it. And I mean to, and I want to, and I should, and I have some 6 feet from me right now. I just never take it. I should take it. I just don't. And to couple that in with your question of, do you take protein? I'm going to answer it honestly and then give you the coach's answer. No, I eat protein. Like I eat, like I went tonight to the stupid bowling alley because there's no food on 29 Palms. And I'm like, I want 3 hamburger patties with cheese and bacon. And they're like, I don't know how to put that in the system. New guy. And I'm like, that's what I want. It comes out with like 4,000 French fries. I'm like, what is this? He's like, oh, you ordered a triple cheeseburger with bacon. I'm like, no, I didn't. I ordered 3 hamburger patties. Right. So I try to like eat my protein. And I always think like eating the real food is probably better. I have some skinny Marines in my battery right now. I'm like, go buy mass gainer protein. And I'm like, or eat a thing of peanut butter every day, right? I always think like eating the food is probably better than supplementing it. But I don't think you can lose taking creatine every day. I think it's a benefit. But if I'm honest, I forget. I used to take it like when I first started lifting and I was really consistent about it. But now, I mean, I'll put it this way. I have Concrete is the brand. We did a video on them last year. Yellow and black. It's like this big. I think it has 60 servings, and I'm still taking the can that I bought last year at the Arnold, and it's more than halfway full. So I think you should take creatine. I think protein you should try to eat. And milk's underrated. And I'll end the rant after this. Like living at the chow hall here, I think the chow hall here's on 29 Palms are not good. I'm often underfed, but I always just make up for it at the milk dispenser because I'm like, all right, they gave me a piece of turkey that's the size of my pinky finger. I'm starving and there's 400 PFCs in line. I'm just going to go fill up on 3 milks. So I think protein is better gained from real foods, but if you can't do that, I think you should supplement it. But in general, I think most of the supplement industry is a scam. I do think creatine is worthwhile taking, but I think in general, most of it's a scam. And, yeah, that's what I have. That's what I love about BW Tax.
I heard your favorite, scientific human. What's his name? Andrew Huberman.
Oh, my favorite. Love that guy.
He's
basically a genius.
There was a clip of him talking about creatine, like other effects, like positive effects that it has, like mentally as well.
That's shown. Yeah. No, and he obviously says some things that aren't insane. Just most of what he says is insane. Not insane, impractical, right? Yeah. That's actually my problem. Is like, and I think that's where like living off of coaching as a business for a while, you realize like you're dealing in human behavior, and most of the things he says, I think he's probably right, but it's not practical. Like Marines are still going to wake up and drink 6 White Monsters, and then they're going to drink a half a bottle of Jameson before they go to bed. And it's like, cool. If they wake up and put their nuts in the sun for 10 minutes, it's not going to outweigh the effects of 6 Monsters in the morning and 6 Jamesons at night. So that's my problem with him. But yeah, take your creatine. I think you eat your protein. And if you're a big dude and you have a lot of muscle mass, you know, I don't think you like protein's probably not your issue. Like I think protein and caloric intake is the issue for like skinny, underweight people. And so I think we just like it's funny. It's like there's this thought like I go to the gym and I lift and then I like and I shake this thing up and drink it and like I'm gonna like just grow muscles and it's not really how it works. Trey, what are you laughing at me about? Nuts in the sun?
Just like Marines, I just picture like Marines like in the window, just like in the morning, just having their nutsacks out.
Well, sipping a monster.
Sipping a monster.
You pour the White Monster on your nutsack.
Yeah.
And then you bake it on top of
sun's rays.
And then you
gotta get the nuts in the sun.
You bake it on top of your JLTV.
Stupid. What a dumb joke. Okay.
Yeah.
And then to clarify, next slide. Are you specifically referring to creatine monohydrate?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
What's the other one?
There's like, I mean, it seems like there's a bunch of
there's a bunch. But monohydrates. What I think all the science is on monohydrate.
Yeah. That's like all the other ones. I think are scam ones. They're like, you know, they're pumping up the price, and you're like, find the cheapest monohydrate if you want to take it,
we should make an okay creatine.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's not bad. It gets the job done.
It's okay.
It's not great.
We'll make millions.
Gonna be rich.
Love it. Let's see. I think it's kind of on topic. Great. You've been training with some shoulder pain. You want to touch on that?
Thought my coaching hat was off.
Oh,
yeah.
well.
No, I've been. I can make this short.
Okay.
I've been training with some shoulder pain. My right shoulder always is what has given me issues. You can go back and look at videos we made in the past, like why I use safety squat bar, different things. What has been interesting is since my buddy's gotten out here trying in Palms and been training a lot, he's not gone more than I think 7 or 8 days ever without hitting the gym. But in general, it's usually 3 days in a 7-day cycle. And so the frequency has gotten less. And as the frequency has gotten less, the shoulder pain has gotten more. And it's just kind of funny because you deal with Marines or you deal with clients and they get pain and they immediately tell you why they can't train. And for me, it's like, man, I got to go train because I feel like the reason my shoulder hurts is because I haven't been training. And then you go to train and it is, I wouldn't say depressing, but it's disheartening, right? It's not fun to go to try to get under a straight bar and the shoulder's irritated, or to try to bench, 225 and you have extreme pain, and I use extreme lightly. So I've just been like training around this thing, and like overhead press has been fine, but not like much over 200 pounds. So I've done a lot like in the 180 region. But I say all that to say, I think if you've lifted for a while, like you can train around injuries. So like I'm able to squat heavy in a safety squat bar. I'm able to pull relatively heavy. I can't bench heavy. Like I've been benching, and it's all relative. Like I don't mean this to sound like I'm strong. But like I've been benching between 225 and 255, depending how it feels. And like I can tolerate that. But if I try to load more, like it's there. Like I can push it off, but like the pain increases a bunch. So I'm like, well, that's not smart. But if you just zoomed out since, January when I got out here, it's like, well, I've actually like made it to the gym pretty regularly and like moved some pretty good numbers, all while like I'm injured. And I don't know what's going on. It seems like it's getting better since we ended the last training evolution. I've been in the gym more frequently. I think it's going to be fine. But I guess what I would say is you have a shoulder, elbow, I don't know, tendonitis, your what's the muscle in the butt? Performance is acting up. Whatever it is, like you should go try to train, because I'm actually have been kind of encouraged of like, oh, been able to lift kind of okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's different, but yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I've been training through some shoulder injuries.
Time gets us all.
Time. You can't trade space for time, but
unless it's time to go to PFT.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we got time for that. Any save rounds, alibis?
I think the only thing there's a little meeting in the Oval Office that's got a lot of press attention. I don't know if we wanted to touch on that or if we feel like every other media outlet everywhere has covered it, but people are probably waiting for the OK podcast to weigh in on it.
Obviously. I'm curious. I have an interesting way that I absorb that media. I'm curious what Trey thought about it first. We're talking about Trump and Zelensky. Or you have 3 daughters. You may have no idea that it even happened.
No, I saw a clip of it.
Okay.
It seemed like at first, a lot of people took it. Like I saw one narrative, I think it was on X. There was a lot of people who like saw like part of it, and they had this one narrative, and then I saw they would go back and like repost like, I just watched the whole entire thing. I'm changing. I have a different narrative now.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay,
kind of like when you watch the OK podcast from the start
weird.
to finish.
How that works.
And then I was like, well, I don't have time to watch 40 minutes of this, so I have no opinion. So no, I honestly don't have an opinion. I just saw people like, per usual, like made a decision without have all the facts, and then went back and watched it and change your mind on something.
Hefe.
I don't have a super strong opinion. I think like Trey said, like you saw a lot of like interesting reactions, and then I was like, yeah, I think you just saw the one clip that like went crazy viral and judged the whole thing off it. And there's just like way more context that needs to be absorbed. But it's like, I mean, there's still like, I don't know. It's just this thing with Trump where it's like says something, gets people fired up, and then like he goes to like back it up, and then the other person's like, oh wait, they're actually going to back this up. And so then like that ends up, I don't know, it's been a tactic that's kind of been working for him, I feel like, in terms of getting stuff like negotiations to like actually happen. So we'll see what happens.
I guess my overall view, and this might be fairly naive, is like it sounds like we sent a lot of money over there, and
so much
money. And I'm like there's been hurricane blew through North Carolina.
South Carolina's on fire.
South Carolina's on fire. Oh, yeah. Malibu was on fire. California was on fire. Like there's so many different problems. I'm like, and then I don't know. I feel like that money could have been spent right here. That's kind of my take. Yeah, might be naive. There's a lot I don't know.
No, yeah, there's a lot we all don't know. What I would say was interesting for me is I usually read the news by what Connor has turned the news into a Strengthco meme. That's generally how I get the news. It's like, this must I know nothing about John Cena turning heel. I'm like, all of a sudden we're posting memes about John Cena. I'm like, what does turn heel even mean? Connor's explaining to me. But that day, very odd, had a moto run at a Pugil Sticks battle, finished it, gave a uniform inspection time. You know me, I'm a big sweater. So I'm like, hey, we just finished PT. 90 minutes from now, we're down in the Thunderdome, in Chuck's. And so I get back to the room. I'm like, well, I want to make a French press. And I got like some time to kill just to stop sweating. So I never do this. Like I cannot remember the last time in the morning I like turned on the news, but I turned on the news. And I had no idea that Trump was going to meet with Zelensky. But I literally watched the whole interaction live to the point where I was like, oh, crap, I had to put my Chucks on and get down to this formation. And it was kind of insane, mainly just because you really were watching like diplomacy live. And I don't know if that's how we're supposed or should do it.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like keep the cameras out of the locker room, right? Yeah. Like, I don't know what's the right way to do it. But I also know, and like you guys know as Marines, like when you're confronted, like a lot of times, like as a Marine officer, like you have to like make a decision right now. And like what you do kind of like impacts like the fallout. And you can't be like, I'm going to think on that and get back to you. And obviously we do our joking briefings of the briefings that are real, but like those don't matter. But I'm talking about like real things. Like someone comes to you and they're like mad about something. And if the CO is like reacts like this, then everyone thinks one thing. And so I did think it was interesting how they like held the line against him. And I kind of agree with you, Trey. And this is a guy that like, and when I say guy, I mean me, not my buddy, me. Like, I think I'm like 9 the first time I go to Ukraine. Like my dad's church was like very mission work heavy in Ukraine. Like I can name you the capital, like a bunch of cities. I have friends that are Ukrainian. I have friends that have been blown up from the war. I like Ukraine. But I kind of thought there was the level of like respect and decorum. And even if you don't like Trump, like even if you're Zelensky and you just don't like Trump, like you should respect the $250 billion that the Ukrainians, that the Americans have sent you. And therefore, if the Americans have decided that Trump's president, you don't like them, like there should be a level of respect. I was just kind of blown away like that. I was watching it live and I actually like grabbed the clip immediately and sent it to all my officers. I was like, you will watch this today. I don't know what the impacts mean for us. Like this is like major strategic things happening on Bravo, basically, like on live TV. And I don't know if that's right or wrong. And I don't know whose fault. I don't know whose fault that is, though, right? I mean, because obviously Trump is like, he's Trumpy, but it's like, you know, we're at the level now where at my level as a major in the Marine Corps, I am seeing civilian jobs as a reservist that is activated that are being impacted. And some of them, I'm like, I don't like that. But I'm like, I think this might be like, if you actually want to balance the budget, if you actually want to fix the deficit, you might have to go over the top. And this may be the only way to fix it. Yeah, I don't know. But I thought the Trump Zelensky thing was like super interesting. And then like watching the post, and it's just crazy the world we live in, and thinking of like H.W. Bush and Clinton and Reagan and like the way diplomacy worked, and Kissinger, and like now, like how it's just like, okay, this thing happens and you're going to leave the White House. And then I'm watching on the news, like, we have this whole lunch here. Who's going to eat this lunch now? And then I'm thinking, well, Doge should be in there packing up the lunch and shipping it to someone, right? Like, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know that I have like a ending point on that, except that it was interesting to watch that play out on live TV.
There's something to be said of living in blissful ignorance. So,
amen, brother.
I'm kind of
amen.
Like, I don't really want to. I really don't think things should be on TV. But
hey, a lot of people feel that way about their taxes until they get that bill from the IRS. Jeff, why don't you tell them a little bit about BW Tax, and we'll help Trey bring us in for a landing.
I'd love to do that. Yeah. Listeners of the esteemed OK podcast, right? It's tax season.
Okay.
It is upon us. We are in it. And we don't got time, okay, to freaking daggone not do our taxes, okay? It's the time that you think you have, you don't have. And if you need that time for your PFT, okay, you need to run the PFT while you're doing your taxes, but you don't need to be doing that on TurboTax or H&R Block or anything like that, because those freaking daggone companies do not care about you. They don't care about your time, okay? But who does care about your time is the trustworthy and loyal folks, and by folks I mean BW over at BW Tax. Okay?
Great guy.
He's got the knowledge, he's got the dedication, and he's going to be there for you. He's got this just this massive staff, just so big, but they all care individually about each person that reaches out to them. They'll get back to you, email, phone call. Hit them up, right? bwtaxllc.com. It's not too late. Reach out. Have your documents in order, right? Be a good dude. Show up with some documents in order if you can, and BW will help you out. Yeah, bwtaxllc.com. They support the podcast, so we love them.
Never trade space for time. So, well, real quick, Jeff, if you could trade 3 miles for 18 minutes, would you do it?
Wait, if I could trade space for time,
100%.
I don't know. Wait,
I've never met.
Can I use that time then to do my PFT?
You don't run 3 miles and you get an 18-minute score.
I'm in.
That's trading space for time.
I will trade that every day.
On that note, I've never met a person who ran 18 minutes who I was like, that guy's a really cool dude.
Yeah, no, the only one I've ever met was a yell leader.
OCS, fastest time, 18:05. That was mine.
Hey, Trey's going to run the ever living whoop out of give me a Fimers whoop trading space for whoop time.
Breaking news, number one basketball team took an L to the gig 'em.
So bring that up.
A&M needed that. I appreciate that, Jeff.
In Texas, we just call that a W.
Yeah,
Auburn has a tough closeout to the season. I think it was all top 25 teams in the last 3 games.
I know, man. The whole slate's pretty salty.
But
so
it's okay.
All right, Trey. Bring
About
us
that
down
time?
for a landing.
This is episode
062.
062. No bingo here of the
Okay.
podcast.
Okay.
As Jeff mentioned, like, thank our sponsor, BW Tax, good guy, better at taxes. We don't give a lot of shout out to this one, but he deserves it. Mr. Helmet, great guy.
Better at helmets.
Better at helmets. Big helmet, small helmet. You got them all. Go to the link below. Gridiron, green, gridiron.
We never know.
We don't know. Yeah, who knows? Also, since you're down there, look at the other link below.
Hey.
You will see the Slack link.
Hey.
Click that. Use code OK. Get a little discount. Go there. Ask some questions about lifting, life, or if you just want to be silly, talk to us. We're there. Let me see. If you are not watching this on YouTube, don't
Go watch.
I don't want you. Don't watch. I don't want you at this point.
Don't watch. Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Just stay away now. We have a loyal following there. But if seriously, give us a like and subscribe there. Love to see you interact there. Most importantly, go to www.theokpodcast.com. You will find all the social media links. Click on each one individually. LinkedIn, Hofspace, MySpace, whatever they are. Instagram,
Truth Social.
Truth Social. Click on each one individually. Create an account. Follow that link. I'm giving instructions to myself.
Tell 4 of your friends to do the same thing, or you'll have a bad year.
Find us there. Follow us there. Love to interact with you there as well. Most importantly, we each have our individual social media accounts that we're all very active on.
Love it.
Grant, Jeff, are you live?
My phone is, they shut me off. It was live for 47 days straight.
He was,
so they cut me off.
Wow, that's so crazy. So, yeah, we're all very active on that. So interact with us there as well. Too active. Coach, I missed anything?
Yeah, hey guys, it's Trash 6. I don't feel like we talked enough about the trash this week. Remember, you got to secure the trash. Trash gets taken to the trash. Make sure you separate the trash and secure the trash. And just make sure all the trash is taken out to the trash. Thanks for all you do, team. We appreciate you. Trash 6 out. Thanks for listening to episode 062 of the OK Podcast, powered by the Strength Co. We appreciate that you listen to us and make it worthwhile for us doing it for 62 weeks. Tune in next week for episode 063 when Jeff's going to remind me to put on a discount for a product that I haven't chosen yet.
Ooh,
but we will discount for OK Podcast listeners. We appreciate the literal thousands, period, no S, that tune in and listen to the podcast. We do. We don't know why you do, but we're glad you do. We'll see you next time.